welcome to Sports Star Live. And the Indian Super League semi-finals have started today. With first game kicks off this evening between FC Goa and Mumbai City FC. And to discuss all things ahead of today's first leg semi-final clash, I am your host Shyam Vasudevan. With me are my colleagues Ashin Prasad and N. Sudarshan. Hi guys, welcome to this preview of today's FC Goa versus Mumbai City FC clash. It's good to have you
Hi
guys here.
Shyam. Hi
Hi
Ashin.
Sham. Hi
Good to be
Sudarshan.
here.
Yeah, it's great to be in like a stadium atmosphere. I'm loving this.
at least a virtual stadium feel.
Yeah, we are there.
Cool. Let's dive right Diving right into it, then let's start off with the last two games. So, how the two teams have come in: FC Goa and Mumbai City FC. FC Goa, as we know, are one of the most consistent teams in the ISL. It's making its sixth appearance in semi-finals, which is the most by any team in the history of the ISL. Whereas with Mumbai City FC, who have just recently won the ISL League Winners' Shield and are making it to the playoff semi-finals as well today. So, Ashin, I'll start with you. How have FC Goa fared in the last two games, and what is their form like coming into today's first leg semi-final clash?
If you look at the numbers statistically, they are 13 games unbeaten, but it doesn't seem like they are one of the form teams in the league. They have had a lot of like stutters along the way, a lot of injuries to deal with, suspensions to deal with. Even for the upcoming match, they have a few suspensions and injuries to contend with. But yeah, they needed a win and a draw to qualify, and they managed to do that against Bengaluru FC and Hyderabad. Uh, Against Bengaluru, it was a more convincing performance where they managed to get the goals, and also when it seemed like the backs were against the wall, they managed to shut out Bengaluru. And in the second game, where they just needed a point to qualify, right? And that's why the pressure kind of like got to them. Hyderabad also were playing the waiting game, not allowing Goa to play the game which they wanted to play, and you could see it was a nervy finish. Them I the what is that? The clearance by Ivan Gonzalez, that if he hadn't made that, then yeah,
Yeah.
out now. So it's a nervy entry into the playoffs for them. But I still feel like, considering how they started the season and how they manage the games over the course of the season, they have deserved a spot in the playoffs. They are one of the best scoring teams as well. So yeah.
Over to you, Sudarshan. How have Mumbai City FC fared in the last couple of games?
Yeah, as in last time we spoke, or even before those two games, it felt like Mumbai could do nothing right because ATK were on the ascendancy and Mumbai seemed down and out. It seemed like they didn't have another plan to actually turn around their fortunes. And the last two games we have seen now, there seems to be a different dimension. They've got back their goal scoring run. They scored 6 against Odisha, and then in the last game against Mohun Bagan, it was like a statement performance. Like they took the lead, they scored 2 goals in the second half, in the first half, and then second half when we are all expecting them to go all out again, they just shut shop and showed a side of their game which we hadn't seen in the last 6 to 7 games or so, at least. So they seem very well prepared going into the final, or I mean semi-final playoff. And yeah, I think Lobera should be very happy, and they have the ACL spot sewed up now, so that should release a lot of pressure. And the ISL playoffs are structured such a way that it's almost like a mini tournament, so you can forget the first stage of the ISL and then start this like a mini tournament. It's just like a straight knockout, two semi-finals and one final. So I think the spirit should be high, and considering the kind of players they are going to get back in their lineup, which we'll discuss more, they'll be in good spirits and they should be looking forward to doing some more damage.
So, as it stands on paper, Mumbai City FC obviously seemed like the stronger side coming into today's game, having won the last two games with 8 goals. I mean, two very, very, very resounding wins. Of course, that down to the wire finish and beating ATK Mohun Bagan in the last game of the season to win the ISL League Winners' Shield. FC Goa, yes, credit to them, 13 games unbeaten, which is a fantastic streak. But like you said, it hasn't been the most smoothest of runs for them. So this could be a really big challenge for them today. So again, like Sudarshan mentioned, Mumbai have a few players coming back into the squad after suspensions and injuries. So Ashin, could you give us a lowdown on what the lineups look like today? What you would predict for the two teams lineup like?
I think the biggest miss for Goa would be Ivan Gonzalez and Alberto Nogueira. Ivan Gonzalez has been one of their defensive mainstays. And like the thing was, even if he was available today, he would have been playing as a right back, as a natural left footer. He wouldn't be able to contribute much in the attacking sense, but still, like, yeah, he's going to miss the game. So they're going to now have to come up with Mohamed Ali or Iban Darling. They're the only options there, and Seritin is injured. And Nogueira has been one of their key players over the course of the season. 8 assists, the top assist provider. And he's one of the best ball carriers in the league, along with Jorge Otis and Hugo Bumu. But with Nogueira missing out, Otis is going to be key, because I feel like he might play as the number 10 today, which is not been the usual position for him. But he is the kind of player who likes to cut in from the left and, like, drift into the center. So him playing through the center could, like, expose Mumbai's high line, which they also like to play. So he could be crucial that way. And so Otis coming back will kind of offset Nogueira's absence. So that'll be the key change for Goa.
And Brandon remains out on injury.
Brandon is still injured, yeah.
Right. So any new inclusions for them? Anybody coming back from injury, or
no, it's just Otis who came back from injury in the last 5 minutes of the game against Hyderabad. So he should be expected to start. They didn't risk him in the last 2 matches. And so he should be back fit now.
Right, and I think Mumbai only have one major concern. Amir Anawale is out because of 1 game suspension.
Yes, and Hugo Bumu is coming back from suspension. So yeah, it's the change there with Mumbai is, like, how are they going to fit all their attacking riches into that lineup? You have Motara Fall and Heran Santana and Ahmed Jahu, who seem to be, like, pretty fixed in the defensive and midfield positions. Then you have Ogbeche, who's been firing. So that opens up now one more spot left for Adam Lefondra, Hugo Bumu, and Sai Godard. And I feel like Lefondra, since he's not been contributing in the goal side of things, Hugo Bumu is someone who's been preferred by Lobera in the last couple of seasons, like with FC Goa and Mumbai. So I think, like, he seems to be the natural replacement in that lineup here. Yeah, like we all know the quality he can bring into the side. Like I mentioned, like, he's one of the best ball carriers in the league, who's very good in, like, transition style of play. So he will go back straight into the lineup, I feel.
Now Vignesh is back as well, right? From a 1 game
suspension. He's back from Mumbai City.
Right. Sudarshan, do you think these new changes, at least for Mumbai City, do you think they can make a difference? Because we've seen how Mumbai City have actually been able to cope in Hugo Bumu's absence as well. And they've done 2 games, okay, they lost drop points in 2 games and then they won the last 2. But they've not really, they haven't really felt the absence per se of Hugo Bumu. Do you think his arrival today could perhaps make the team stronger than it was over the last couple of games?
Yeah, definitely. I think it's a good problem to have, and Lobera wouldn't mind it. And the advantage with the semi-final playoffs is that it's not a 1-game shootout. So even if he cannot, or he's unable to fit all of them together at the start, he can always change things. So there is always a course correction mechanism or a time available to do that. So I think it's a good problem for him to have, and to have a full squad of his players. Like, they would have built the squad keeping in mind all these things. So to have a full squad except Ranawade going into this mini tournament of sorts, I think it's a huge advantage. And they also have most of the players in form now. At least in the last 2 games, we have seen that most of them have come back to form. They have reset their strategies and other things and restarted again. So I think it's a very, very positive sign for them. Yeah.
Yeah, another big problem I think Sergio Lobera has is to start with Lefondre or with Ogbeche or with both. And we've seen this problem where whenever both of them start together, Lefondre has been slightly off color in the sense he doesn't get his primary, his preferred role, while Ogbeche is fired on all fronts. That's something that's, I think, also a very big problem Lobera has going into today's game.
Yeah, but in a way, I think he would worry only when the two can't work with each other. So that has not been the case. It's been like either one or the other. And even when both of them are on the pitch, it's not like both are not canceling out each other or impeding each other's games. So as long as that happens, I think Lobera would see that as a plus and see it as 2 different options or 2 different kind of strategies with which he can play he can change mid game, he can change between games. So I don't think it should be that big a problem as long as they're winning it.
Perfect. That makes complete sense. And then we jump down to the style of play. So let's discuss on how these new changes could affect the style of play. Of course, we already briefly discussed Ogbeche and Lefondre, but when it comes to Mumbai, when it comes to FC Goa, I think they are, like you said, solely going to miss Ivan Gonzalez at the back and Noguera, who's the main assist provider this season. But we've also seen how Ortiz and Angelo have also formed this really good combination up front, which is more often than not led to multiple goals in games. Do you think that could perhaps be the changing factor for them, driving factor for them, given that Ortiz is coming back from injury as well?
Yeah, I feel like Noguera missing out could mean that like this is a game where Mumbai could dominate more of the possession because say with someone like Noguera and Edubedia in the side, they are someone who like to recycle position constantly among them, hold on to the ball, pick the right moments to play the passes. Then it's very difficult to take the ball of them. You need either bring them down to and have do all those dark arts to take the ball off them. So Ortiz is someone who's more direct in that sense. So again, like I mentioned earlier, if you're looking to expose Mumbai's high line, say someone like Ortiz and Angulo who likes to play off the line, who likes to run directly at the defense. So that's where there'll be a difference in today's game, I feel. And one thing which I've always noticed is that these two teams are highest in terms of the passing statistics. They both have over 9,500 passes in the league stages. They have scored the most number of goals, 35 and 31. And and with Juan Fernando, they like to impress more with the ball, where they want to control the game with possession. So this is the kind of game where we have seen with Lobera's team in the past. They have a tendency of getting blown away in these semi-final fixtures in one of the semi-final legs. We have seen that in the 2017-18 season with Chennai against Chennai. Then last season, even though it wasn't Lobera who played who took the team into the semi-finals, it was almost his imprint which was left on the team. I don't think they tweaked much over there, and they were blown away again by Chennai. So that's something which they could look to exploit. Where we also saw that in the match against Bengaluru FC quite recently. The first 15 minutes they blew them away with the 2 goals, and Mumbai had to play catch up. So those are the things which I'm expecting in terms of the style of play. But both teams are possession oriented style, but if one team looks to exploit that side of things, that could be a game changer today.
It also depends on how much Mandar or Vignesh, whoever is playing, and also Ranavade's replacement actually go high up the pitch. So that is the other thing that we have to see, and also how much they allow Jahu to do what he does best. So that is also there. And without Noguera, I think they pretty much occupy the same area of the pitch. When say if Mumbai is on the attack, Noguera is where Jahu generally is. So it also depends on who marks him out. So that's also another thing that we need to watch out for.
Speaking of set pieces, both Jahu and Bhuvneshwar both have been phenomenal with the dead balls this season. And that's seen, I think, Mumbai City has scored 19 of the 35 goals from set pieces, which is, I think, a remarkable change under Sergio Lobera for a team that is used to playing a freestyle playing of football, which doesn't depend on set pieces. We scored a phenomenal number from set piece situations this season, whereas Goa have conceded, I think, 15 from such situations. So that also makes for a very mouth-watering contest in some sense.
Yeah, I mean, Mumbai has Ogbeche and Mortada Fall. They are two big men to contend with. Even Hernan Santana has contributed in set pieces. And we have mentioned previously in our podcast, the full-time show, where Dheeraj Singh is susceptible to from corners from set pieces. He tends to flap at while coming out to deal with the high balls. So. Yeah. I'm not sure, how he's going to deal with the kind of threat which Mumbai can deliver. And it's not just the height which they bring in, right? Like you mentioned, Jahu is phenomenal with his deliveries which he plays into the box. So yeah, I think that will be another key area of the match which we might have to look forward to.
And they also have very powerful strikers. Like when you actually can imagine the kind of long range shots they can take, like Bumu can take, Jahu can take, and Ogbeje can take. So it also depends on how much Dheeraj can actually parry away. Where does he parry away? It actually, if you have somebody like Lefondo who's a good poacher, and if you have someone hitting those long range shots, and all Dheeraj can do is just palm away uh, it to the first available option in front of the defense. So he's in for trouble. So that is another, dimension which we can attribute to Mumbai's goal scoring. This thing.
Right, and I think that kind of brings us to the next segment, which is game changers or a game changing aspect that each of us could come up with today. I'm going to go first and say I think my game changer would be Ishan Pandita. I'm a huge fan of the young lad. He's made his national team. He's got to call up the preparatory camp as well for the upcoming friendlies against Iran and Oman. So I'm particularly thrilled for Ishan Pandita because I think he can come off the bench and give you the new dimension of gameplay, which isn't really available in other teams. Because he's somebody I think he's played 53 minutes so far and has scored 4 goals already, and he's somebody who you know like Fernando has back time and again to come off the bench the 75th minute or after that, and in search of a equalizer or search of a winning goal, and he's delivered time and again. So I think if if the scoreline were to remain 0-0, or if Mumbai were to sneak ahead of the 1-0 lead, I think Ishan Panita's coming on would be I predict that would be the game changing or game turning moment. But then I'll ask you next, Sudarshan, what do you think would be the turning moment today or
I
individual?
think FC Goa should be very wary of what Fall can do. So considering his height and the kind of heading ability that he has, and Dheeraj will be in two minds whether to come out and punch the ball or whether to stay back. So I think it puts a lot of responsibility on how Adil Khan and others shield their goalkeeper. So I would actually be keen on where Murtada Fall is and how he capitalizes on the set pieces that Mumbai can actually generate or get.
And Ashwin, how about you?
I'm gonna go with Jorge. I think
Okay.
he is the X factor for FC Goa. Like I mentioned previously, right? Like he has the abilities which like none of the other FC Goa players have in this team. The direct style of play, the ball carrying abilities, like the dribbling, and he can also like take shots from distance. Like he's scored 6 goals this season, and I feel like he's very unlucky in the amount of chances where he's created and his teammates have not scored of them. Like I think he probably has just one assist, which is a letdown for him. But yeah, I think he can prove to be the X factor for Goa.
Yeah, just a thing to add to it, like it can also help the Mumbai backline stay in its place because he's such a direct attacker. So they wouldn't want to leave too much space behind them, considering the other pacey options they might have. So yeah.
Awesome. That brings us to the last segment, which is last predictions. How do you guys see this game playing out? Who are you guys going to vote for to take the upper hand?
I would say Mumbai 2-1.
Okay, Sudarshan says Mumbai 2-1. Do you have a prediction of goal scorers as well?
No.
Okay. Ashin?
See, even though I mentioned that like how Lobera's team has a tendency to get blown away, I think this is an opportunity for Mumbai to blow away Goa in the first leg, considering the players who are missing in the defensive options at least. So I think it could be a game where it could be a heavy defeat for Goa. I'm not sure
Okay. What's
the scoreline or the goal scorers, but it could be a big defeat for Goa.
Are you looking at something like a 5-1, a 6-1, or slightly smaller than
3 or 4-0.
3 or 4-0 to Mumbai City, says Ashin? I'm probably going to say like a 2-2 draw. It's going to be a goal scoring draw. I'm going to go with Ogbeche and Hugo Bumis for Mumbai City, and Angulo and Ishan Pandita for FC Goa. I think it's going to be 2-2, and then it's going to go down to the wire, and they have another knockout clash when they face again in the second leg. Brilliant. I think that sums up our preview for today's game, which begins at 7:30 p.m. So we will be live blogging the game on sportstar.thehindu.com. So you can check out our website. A live blog from 5:30 p.m. And we've got a lot of interesting stuff, including quizzes, podcasts, stats, you name it. We've got it all. So make sure you check out our website, which is sportstar.thehindu.com. And until then, this is goodbye from all of us. And yes, do tune into a live talk. It's fun. Until then, it's goodbye from all of us. Take care.